You know that gut-wrenching feeling when you pour your heart out to someone only for them to act like you're invisible? It's like shouting into the void, hoping for an echo, but all you get is silence. Like really, you're being thoughtful, caring, and basically offering the emotional equivalent of a VIP pass to your heart, and they're acting like they're on a permanent do not disturb mode. It's brutal, isn't it? You show someone that you care, that you're all in. You listen to their stories, laugh at their jokes, even when they aren't funny. And yet, instead of appreciation, you're met with indifference. It feels like making a 5-course meal from scratch, setting the table with candles and flowers, only for them to show up, grab a piece of bread, and walk away without even saying thanks. I read this story on a relationship forum once. A guy shared how he fell head over heels for someone he thought was the one. He went all out. Sweet messages, surprise gifts, constant check-ins. He thought he was showing love, but she started pulling away. One day, she told him, "You're too much. I need space." He was devastated. He couldn't understand how being loving and thoughtful could push someone away. Isn't that what people want? He wondered. To be cared for deeply. Mark Twain once said, "Too much of anything is bad, but too much of good whiskey is barely enough." Sadly, in relationships, even the good stuff can be too much. Kindness, attention, affection, these are beautiful things, but when given without balance, they can lose their magic. They become expected, not appreciated. It's frustrating, isn't it? You think, if I care more, try harder, give more, they'll see my worth. But sometimes, showing too much interest too soon is like watering a plant 24/7. Instead of growing, it drowns. People need space to breathe, to miss you, to wonder about you. So if you're sitting there, wondering why they're ignoring you after you've shown them nothing but love, remember this. Your value doesn't decrease because someone fails to see it. You're not defined by someone's attention span. You're worthy of love that's mutual, consistent, and effortless. Stop chasing. Stop convincing. You're not an unpaid intern in someone's life. You're the CEO of your own happiness. So affirm with me right now. I am the CEO of my happiness. And don't just keep it to yourself. You care about others going through the same struggle, the same rejection, the same heartbreak. So write it in the comments. Show them they're not alone. Show them that we rise together. Remind someone out there who feels shattered that their story doesn't end here. Be that voice of strength for someone who's searching for a reason to keep going. Drop it in the comments. Simple. Just write, "I am the CEO of my happiness." And while you're at it, press that like button. It helps spread this message to more people who need to hear it. People searching for strength when they feel like they've lost it all. And now, let's get into it. Number 1, don't set yourself on fire to keep someone else warm. Have you ever cared about someone so much that you ended up exhausting yourself just to make them happy? You give, you compromise, you bend over backward, all while they sit back, soaking it all in like it's their birthright. At first, it feels noble, like you're proving your love through sacrifice. But over time, you realize you're the only one making those sacrifices. And it burns, literally. It's like standing in the freezing cold, holding a match, thinking, if I just keep this flame going, maybe they'll feel its warmth. But here's the harsh truth. If someone doesn't appreciate the fire you're offering, burning yourself alive won't change that. It'll only leave you in ashes. They'll warm up for a moment and then move on, leaving you drained, damaged, and wondering where things went wrong. I've seen this play out so many times. Friends, stories on forums, even personal experiences. You give more, thinking it will spark something in them, but all it sparks is your burnout. I remember reading a post about someone who was always the fixer in every relationship. He thought if he could just solve her problems, show up for her every time she felt down, she'd finally see his worth. But she didn't. She got used to being rescued, and he got used to feeling unappreciated. Love isn't about sacrificing yourself to prove you're worthy. You're not some emotional firefighter rushing into flames you didn't start just to save someone who won't even acknowledge your effort. If they're not meeting you halfway, or even a quarter of the way, it's not your job to convince them that you're worth it. Remember this: people who truly care won't let you burn yourself out to keep them warm. They'll bring their own fire. They'll share the responsibility of keeping the flame alive, together. And no, this isn't about being selfish or withholding love. It's about understanding that love isn't supposed to hurt. It's supposed to fuel you, not drain you. When someone makes you feel like you're too much for simply caring, it's time to step back and reclaim your energy. The next time you feel tempted to overextend yourself, ask this simple question: if I stopped doing everything I'm doing right now, would they even notice? If the answer is no, it's time to stop. Protect your fire. Save your warmth for someone who will sit beside you, tend the flames with you, and never expect you to burn yourself out just to make them feel good. You're a source of light and love, not a disposable matchstick. Keep your fire strong for you. Say this with me: I will not set myself on fire to keep someone else warm. My energy, my love, and my time are valuable. I deserve to be met with the same effort, care, and respect that I give. I choose to protect my peace, honor my boundaries, and stop sacrificing my well-being for someone who won't do the same for me. I am worthy of love that uplifts me, not drains me. Now, drop it in the comments. Type it out right now. I protect my energy. Let it be a declaration, a reminder, and a promise to yourself. You are not someone's emotional fuel station. You are the keeper of your own light. Protect it fiercely, and let those who deserve your warmth be the ones you choose to share it with. And while you're at it, press that like button. Let this affirmation spread to someone who needs to be reminded of their worth today. You never know who might be feeling burned out and needs to hear these words. You have the power to inspire change in yourself and in others. Let's keep rising together. Number 2, a locked door is more intriguing than an open window. You've heard the saying, people want what they can't have. It sounds cliché, but there's a deep truth to it rooted in human psychology. We're wired to chase what feels just out of reach. What's mysterious, what's uncertain, what keeps us guessing. It's not about playing games. It's about understanding that people are naturally drawn to what they can't fully figure out. But what do we do when we're interested in someone? We throw open every emotional window, roll out the welcome mat, and basically hang up a neon sign that says, "Hey, I'm here, I like you, please like me back." We think being open, available, and transparent will make us more lovable. But sometimes it has the opposite effect. Why? Because when someone feels like they already have you, there's nothing left to discover. No mystery, no intrigue. You become like an open window they can glance through any time. Always there, always predictable. And the sad reality? People value what they earn, not what's simply handed to them. Imagine walking down a street. You see 2 houses, one with its front door wide open, the inside fully visible. The other has its door locked, its curtains drawn just enough to let you see a flicker of light inside. Which one sparks your curiosity more? The one that invites you in, or the one that makes you wonder what's behind the door? Exactly. The same principle applies to relationships. Being emotionally available is a beautiful thing, but being too available, too open, too predictable makes people feel like they don't need to invest any effort. It's not about manipulating someone's feelings. It's about honoring your own self-worth. You're not a 24/7 convenience store that's always open, but here's where fear comes in, and this is where it gets real. Sometimes we're afraid to be a locked door because we think they'll leave if we don't keep it wide open. We fear that if we don't text first, if we don't check in, if we don't make it obvious how much we care, they'll forget about us. That fear is powerful. It convinces us that doing more will keep them around. We overshare, overgive, over-explain, because deep down, we're terrified of being left out in the emotional cold. It's a survival mechanism. If we can control how much they see, maybe we can control how much they care. But here's the kicker. Real connections can't be forced through availability. A locked door isn't about being cold or distant. It's about having boundaries. It's about creating a space where someone wants to knock, wants to be invited in, and earns their way into your life. It's about you being in control of who gets access to your time, energy, and heart. Being a locked door doesn't mean you're playing games or being emotionally unavailable. It means you value yourself enough not to hand out the keys to just anyone. It means you're selective about who gets past the threshold of your trust. Think about it. If someone can't be bothered to knock, to show genuine effort, to choose you, do you really want them in your life in the first place? A locked door separates those who are curious from those who are committed. Those who want to be there will knock. They'll wait. They'll respect your boundaries. Those who don't, were never going to stay anyway. Of course, this isn't about being completely closed off or shutting people out. It's about balance. You can be warm, kind, and inviting, but still have a door that locks. You get to decide when it opens and for whom. Being open-hearted is a strength, but only when paired with discernment. You can let people in without leaving your emotional windows wide open 24/7. Show interest, but keep a little mystery. Share your thoughts, but don't spill your entire soul on the first date. Not because you're playing hard to get, but because you are worth getting. I know what you're thinking. But what if they leave because I'm not being open enough? Trust me, the right person won't. The right person won't be scared off by your boundaries. They'll respect them. They'll appreciate that you value yourself enough not to hand out emotional VIP passes on a whim. And if they do leave, then they were only interested in the easy version of you, the one without walls, without standards, without depth. And you deserve far more than that. So stop fearing that being a locked door will drive people away. The people meant for you will knock. They'll wait. They'll earn their way in. And when they do, it won't feel like a struggle. It will feel right. Say it with me. I am worth earning. Now drop it in the comments. Let it be your declaration. You are not an open window, free for anyone to wander into without care. You are worthy of effort, intention, and genuine connection. Type it right now. I am worth earning. And while you're at it, press that like button. Someone out there might be struggling with feeling too available or taken for granted, and your words could remind them of their worth. You have the power to inspire change in yourself and in others. Let's rise together. Number 3, water the roots, not the leaves. In relationships, it's easy to get caught up in the surface-level stuff, the sweet texts, the good morning messages, the romantic dates, and the occasional "I miss you" when they feel lonely. But here's the thing. All of that is like watering the leaves of a plant. It looks good on the outside, but if the roots aren't being nourished, the whole thing eventually withers. Real love, real connection. It grows from what's underneath, not what's on display. Think about how often we chase the leaves in relationships. We focus on keeping the conversations going, sending thoughtful gifts, or planning the next big romantic surprise, believing that if we just do enough, things will thrive. But if the emotional roots, trust, respect, communication, shared values, aren't being nurtured, all those sweet gestures become empty rituals. They might look good on the surface, but they won't hold up when things get tough. I once read a story about a guy who was the king of grand gestures. He'd surprise his partner with vacations, expensive dinners, even custom-made gifts. To the outside world, it looked like a perfect relationship. But behind the scenes, they rarely had deep conversations. He avoided talking about important issues because he thought his gifts would fix any problem. Eventually, the relationship fell apart, not because he didn't try, but because he was watering the wrong part of the plant. It's the same reason why some people seem so affectionate one moment, only to vanish when real emotions or serious conversations come up. They're comfortable sprinkling water on the leaves because it's easy and looks good. But roots? They require patience, effort, and honesty. They can't be rushed or faked. Here's the tough part. Sometimes we focus on the leaves because we're scared. Scared that if we stop being perfect on the surface, the other person will lose interest. So we stay busy with romantic gestures, funny texts, and sweet surprises, all while avoiding the deeper work. It's safer to send a cute meme than to have a serious talk about where things are heading. But relationships built on shallow effort eventually collapse. No matter how much you water the leaves, the plant can't survive if the roots are dry. And you shouldn't have to carry the emotional watering can alone. Both people have to be willing to dig deep, to be vulnerable, honest, and committed to nurturing what's real. It's not about giving up on sweet gestures or romantic surprises. Those are beautiful extras. But they're not the foundation. They're the blooms that come when the roots are strong. If someone only sticks around for the pretty leaves, but won't help care for the roots, let them go. You deserve someone who wants to grow something real with you, not just enjoy the view while it's convenient. Say it with me. I water what matters. Drop it in the comments. You're done chasing surface-level affection. You're ready for roots, for something real, lasting and true. Type it right now. I water what matters. And while you're at it, press that like button. Someone out there might be stuck watering leaves, thinking that's all relationships are about. Be the reminder that true connection grows from within. Let's rise together. Number 4. Don't chase the wind. Be the storm. You know what chasing someone feels like. It's like running after the wind, exhausting, unpredictable, and ultimately pointless. No matter how fast or far you run, you can't catch something that's determined to keep moving away from you. And the more you chase, the more out of reach it seems. That's the harsh reality of pursuing someone who clearly isn't meeting you halfway. You become stuck in a cycle of effort, hope, and disappointment, while they remain as distant as ever. But here's where everything changes. Stop chasing the wind. Be the storm. A storm doesn't chase the wind. It becomes the force that demands attention. It moves with power, purpose and undeniable presence. When you stop chasing after someone's approval, affection, or attention, you reclaim all the energy you've been wasting and direct it toward your own growth, success, and happiness. Suddenly, you become the one they can't ignore, not because you're trying to impress them, but because you've become unstoppable on your own. I know what you're thinking. But if I stop trying, won't they forget about me? This question comes from a place of fear. Fear that stepping back means losing them forever. But here's the truth. If someone is only in your life because of how much effort you're putting in, they were never really with you to begin with. Real connections aren't built on one-sided effort. They thrive when both people show up with equal interest and commitment. Another question that might creep in is, but what if they're just busy or going through something? Sure, life gets hectic and people go through tough times. But here's the difference. When someone values you, they make an effort, even when life gets complicated. They don't leave you guessing, hoping, or chasing. They find ways to show up because you matter. If someone consistently makes you feel like an afterthought, it's not about their busy schedule. It's about where you stand in their priorities. And then there's the classic, what if I'm just not enough? Let me stop you right there. You are enough, but you've been pouring all your enough into chasing someone who can't see it. That doesn't mean you're lacking. It means you've been investing in the wrong place. Being enough isn't about changing yourself to fit someone else's standards. It's about knowing your worth and refusing to settle for less than what you deserve. When you stop chasing, something incredible happens. You create space. Space for someone who will choose you, not because you're constantly proving your worth, but because they see it. You become the storm that can't be ignored, powerful, undeniable, and unstoppable, because you're no longer seeking validation from someone else. So the next time you feel tempted to run after someone who's clearly drifting away, pause. Take that energy, that love, that passion, and pour it into yourself. Focus on your goals, your dreams, your happiness. Watch how your life transforms when you become the storm, not for anyone else, but for you. Say it with me. I am the storm. Drop it in the comments. Let it be your declaration. You're done chasing the wind, done running after people who can't see your worth. You are becoming the force they can't ignore. Type it right now. I am the storm. And while you're at it, press that like button. Someone out there needs to hear this, to stop chasing the wind and start embracing their own power. Be the reminder that they are enough, just as they are. Let's rise together. Number 5, stop handing out discounts on your value. Have you ever caught yourself lowering your standards just to keep someone around? Maybe you ignored red flags, accepted half-hearted effort, or settled for crumbs of attention because you thought, well, maybe this is the best I can get right now. That's what handing out discounts on your value looks like. You compromise your worth, hoping they'll finally realize how amazing you are, but instead, they just keep taking more while giving less. You're not a clearance rack item. You're not a buy one, get one free emotional deal. You're premium, full value, and non-negotiable. If someone can't meet your standards, it's not your job to lower them. It's their responsibility to rise up or step out. But I get it. The fear of being alone can be deafening. You might think, if I don't bend a little, I'll lose them. But here's a truth that stings a bit. If someone only stays because you're offering them a discount version of yourself, they were never really meant for you in the first place. Imagine walking into a high-end store. You see something stunning, something that's worth every penny. But because you're short on cash, you ask for a discount. What happens when the store says no? You either figure out a way to afford it, or you leave. Your love, your energy, your time, they're not clearance items. They are luxury goods, rare, valuable, and worth it. Stop being the emotional store that's always running sales just to keep customers. The right person won't need a discount. They'll be ready to give you what you're worth. Without hesitation. I know it's tempting to settle when you've been waiting for someone to notice you, appreciate you, or commit fully. But here's the reality. Settling doesn't make you more lovable. It makes you less respected. The moment you accept less than what you deserve, you teach them that it's okay to give you less. And they will. It's time to shift your mindset. You are not too much. You are not asking for too many things. Wanting love, respect, attention, and effort isn't extra. It's essential. Stop apologizing for having standards. They exist to protect your heart, your energy, and your soul. And if someone ever makes you feel like your standards are the problem, that's your sign to walk away, not to compromise. You can't thrive in a relationship where you're constantly negotiating your worth. The right person will see your value from day one and match your energy, effort, and love without needing reminders. Stop settling for almost. Stop explaining why you need consistency, affection, or time. The right person will understand that love is a two-way street, not a one-way giveaway. So, the next time someone tries to make you feel guilty for having expectations, remember this. You are the standard. You set the terms for how you're treated, and anyone unwilling to meet them doesn't deserve access to you. Say it with me. I am not on sale. Drop it in the comments. Let it be your declaration. You are done offering discounts on your worth. You are done settling for less than what you deserve. Type it right now. I am not on sale. And while you're at it, press that like button. Someone out there might be bargaining with their own value, thinking it's the only way to be loved. Be the reminder that real love doesn't come with conditions or discounts. Let's rise together. Number 6. Don't drown them with waves. Be the calm in their storm. You know how it feels when you care so much about someone that your emotions hit them like crashing waves. You text constantly, check in, show up, doing everything you can to let them know you're there. But instead of pulling them closer, they seem to drift further away. And there you are, left wondering, what am I doing wrong? I'm just showing how much I care. The truth is, love isn't about how much you give. It's about how you give. When you overwhelm someone with constant attention, affection, and emotional energy, it can start to feel less like love and more like pressure. It's not that caring is bad, it's that caring too intensely, too fast, too often can leave the other person feeling emotionally smothered. Think about the ocean. Calm, steady waves are soothing. They invite you in. They feel safe and peaceful. But giant, crashing waves, they're overwhelming. They can pull you under, leaving you gasping for air. That's what happens when we drown someone with love in an attempt to keep them close. What's meant to feel warm and comforting can start to feel like too much, too fast. This usually comes from a good place, from a genuine desire to connect and be there for the person we care about. But if we're honest, sometimes it also comes from fear. Fear of being abandoned, fear of being forgotten, fear that if we don't keep reminding them of our love, they might just drift away. But here's the thing. Love isn't something you force someone to feel by constantly showing up. Real connection grows in the space between two people, in the calm, not in the chaos. When you're always there, always calling, always available, there's no room for the other person to miss you, to wonder about you, to choose you. I remember reading about someone who was always the first to text, always planning the next date, always going above and beyond. They thought, if I just keep showing them how much I care, they'll see how serious I am. But instead, the other person grew distant. Not because they didn't care, but because they felt overwhelmed. They were never given a moment to reflect or reciprocate. Relationships are about balance. You can't be both the ocean and the shore. You can't be the wave and the safe harbor. Sometimes less is more. When you stop flooding the other person with constant effort, you give them space to miss you, to want you, and to choose you on their own terms. This isn't about playing hard to get or being distant on purpose. It's about being steady, not stormy. Be the calm in their storm, not the waves crashing over them. Let your love be consistent, reliable and reassuring, but not demanding. Imagine someone sitting on the shore, watching the waves roll in. The steady rhythm of the tide is comforting, peaceful, but if a sudden wave crashes over them, soaking them head to toe, it's a shock. It's too much. You want to be the steady tide, the one they can count on, not the one that leaves them overwhelmed. And here's the important part. Being the calm in someone's storm doesn't mean suppressing your feelings. It means being emotionally secure, steady, and grounded. It means expressing your feelings with intention, not impulse. It means showing up in ways that are meaningful, not just frequent. Instead of sending 5 good morning texts in a row, send one thoughtful message that shows you were genuinely thinking about them. Instead of planning every date, let them take the lead sometimes. Instead of doing more, try being more present when you're actually together. It's about quality, not quantity. About being there when it matters, not just being there all the time. People remember how you made them feel, not how many texts you sent or how many times you called. And if you're afraid that being less present will make them forget about you, pause. The right person won't need constant reminders. They'll value you because of who you are, not because of how often you show up. And if they do need constant proof of your love, maybe they're not ready for the kind of steady, real connection you deserve. So stop drowning them with waves. Be the calm in their storm. Be the presence they want, not the effort they feel obligated to respond to. Let them experience the peace that comes from being with someone who is emotionally secure, supportive, and confident in their worth. Say it with me. I am calm. I am steady. Drop it in the comments. Let it be your declaration. You are no longer chasing, overgiving, or overwhelming others with effort. You are steady, strong, and emotionally secure. Type it right now. I am calm. I am steady. And while you're at it, press that like button. Someone out there might be stuck in a cycle of overgiving, thinking it's the only way to keep someone close. Be the reminder that real love isn't about chasing, it's about being. Let's rise together. Number 7. Be the lighthouse, not the lifeboat. You know what happens when you try to be someone's lifeboat. You exhaust yourself. You end up carrying their emotional baggage, saving them from every storm, and trying to keep them afloat, while slowly sinking under the weight of it all. Being the lifeboat feels noble, like you're the hero holding everything together. But at what cost? The reality is, you can't save someone who doesn't want to be saved. You can't force someone to choose happiness, healing, or growth. And you definitely can't carry the entire emotional load of a relationship on your shoulders. Trying to be someone's lifeboat only leads to one outcome: you drown. But what if you didn't have to be the lifeboat at all? What if you chose to be something stronger, something steadier, like a lighthouse? A lighthouse doesn't chase after ships in distress. It doesn't dive into the water trying to pull them to safety. It stands tall, shines its light, and shows them the way, if they're willing to follow it. The lighthouse doesn't beg ships to notice its light. It simply shines and lets the ships decide whether to navigate toward it. That's what emotional strength looks like. You can be a source of light, hope, and guidance in someone's life, but it's not your job to rescue them. They have to want to be saved. They have to steer their own ship. You can't live their journey for them, no matter how much you care. This hits hard when you're someone who feels deeply, someone who's naturally nurturing and wants to fix things. You think, if I just try harder, love more, be more patient, they'll change. But people don't change because you care more. They change because they're ready. I remember reading about someone who spent years in a relationship where they were constantly rescuing their partner. Every time their partner fell apart, emotionally, financially, or mentally, they were there, picking up the pieces, offering unconditional support. They became the lifeboat, until one day they realized they were completely drained, emotionally exhausted, and barely holding themselves together. They gave everything and received nothing in return. Being the lifeboat feels good at first because it makes you feel needed, even important. But the truth is, being needed and being valued are not the same thing. People can rely on you without ever respecting you. They can take everything you offer and still choose to leave when the waters calm down. That's why you need to be the lighthouse. Strong, steady, and unapologetically you. You shine your light because that's who you are, not because you're trying to earn someone's love or prove your worth. You let people see your light, but you don't chase them down, begging them to stay. Being a lighthouse means setting boundaries, standing firm, and refusing to be someone's emotional crutch. It means being supportive without sacrificing yourself. It means being there for someone without losing yourself in the process. And here's something powerful. The right person will see your light. They'll be drawn to it. Not because you're chasing them, but because you're steady. They'll navigate toward you, not out of desperation, but because they see your strength and feel safe in your presence. The wrong people? They'll expect you to be their personal lifeboat, to fix their problems, and to always be there, no matter how much it costs you. They'll take your light for granted, assuming it will always be there, shining just for them. But when you're the lighthouse, you get to decide who deserves your energy. And when it's time to stop shining for someone who won't even try to steer toward you. Being the lighthouse also means accepting that some people will never choose the safe shore. They'll drift, get lost, or crash into the rocks because they're not ready to be saved. And that's not your fault. You can't steer someone's ship for them. You can only show them the way. If you've been playing the role of the lifeboat in someone's life, it's time to stop. Not because you don't care, but because you matter too. Your light deserves to shine without being dimmed by constant rescue missions. You are worthy of love that's mutual, balanced, and built on respect, not dependency. So, stand tall, be steady, shine brightly. And remember, you are the lighthouse, not the lifeboat. Say it with me. I am the lighthouse. Drop it in the comments. Let it be your declaration. You're done being someone's emotional lifeboat. You are steady, strong, and secure in your own light. Type it right now. I am the lighthouse. And while you're at it, Press that like button. Someone out there might be stuck in a cycle of constant giving, thinking they have to save someone to be worthy of love. Be the reminder that real love doesn't require endless rescue missions. Let's rise together. As we wrap this up, remember, you are not defined by how much someone notices you or how hard you try to make them stay. You are enough simply because you exist. Stop chasing, stop convincing, and stop handing out discounts on your worth. Be the lighthouse, steady, strong, and unapologetically you. It's time to reclaim your energy, set boundaries, and let those who truly value you rise to meet your standards. The right people will never need convincing. They'll see your light and be drawn to it without hesitation. If this message resonated with you, let me know in the comments by writing, "I choose my worth." And while you're at it, hit that like button to help spread this message to someone who needs to be reminded of their power. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a future video. Together, let's keep rising, healing, and stepping into our full potential. Thank you for being here. Now, go shine. See you in the next video.